Hey there, folks. So the other day I was watching someone do a live stream ranking old Greek monsters, and I thought it was actually pretty interesting seeing what other people think of them. And then they got up to the Manticore, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, no, the Manticore is kind of mid. It's literally just a guy's face on, a lion with a scorpion tail." And I'll be honest, I can't argue with that. That does sound kind of mid. So I thought to myself, hey, let's see how cool I can actually make one of those. So that's what I did. So I fired up Nomad, as I do. Shocker, I know, on this channel where I spend all my time sculpting stuff on Nomad, I make something on Nomad. What? Who would have guessed? What's next? I'm gonna make some other form of monster at some point down the line. Who knows? But either way, definitely stay tuned for that. So please like and subscribe if you do like the stuff I do and do want to see me continue to make stuff, because I have a lot of fun doing it. And I don't know, one day I'm gonna turn this into my full-time gig, so I'm able to leave all my other jobs. So yeah, fingers crossed, here we go. So for this one, I've actually been trying this new approach for my sculpting method, where I start off with a just basic sphere and sort of stretch out into the base or silhouette and general forms and just proportions how I want the thing to be looking. And I found from this, I actually can have a lot more refined control afterwards, because I have noticed whenever I do multi-part creations where I'm just adding multiple different subtools, yes, that is pretty useful and it does provide a lot of control, but I do tend to sort of not embody the flow as well as one would think. Because say from having several different parts for the arm, yes, you're able to move them around and sort of edit it a lot freer, but you kind of don't have the same organic unity as you would as if from doing it like this. And that is something I do want to play around with a bit more, especially in earlier stages, as well as I think it's going to be a sort of thing where I sculpt all of it in one and then break it up to then restart sculpting everything, and get it all posed up and then combine it back all together and then have it as one cohesive unified thing. I feel that's going to be my approach going forward. What I do find kind of interesting, because I used to do these one sphere challenges where I'd sculpt everything off one subtool, and I got really into doing that, and now it's actually become part of my actual workflow. So yeah, main piece of advice there is play around with stuff. Just experiment with new approaches and stuff. Challenge yourself, limit yourself in new sort of ways, and that will allow you to actually pick up on random new things you like. This is a prime example of that. So definitely give that sort of stuff a try, because it is very useful skills to use. And following along with that topic, something else what I originally did just as an experimentation to play around with was actually pose hierarchies and stuff like that, where I break down an object, I organize the subtools in a certain way to actually allow me to move them around. And that's what I've been doing here a bit more, where it allows me to actually have a lot more control over the movement. Whereas say I'm able to move the shoulder, it will then move the bicep, forearm, and then hand, and so on and so forth. It is a really useful thing to keep in mind, especially just for later stages where you actually try to get it a pose and make it seem less static and just give it so much more personality and character. That's something I've been playing around with a lot recently, and oh god, I love it, because I'm not gonna lie, I do have a bit of an issue where I'll sculpt something stagnant and it feels too static, too lifeless, and more just a cinematic render of something instead of an actual character. Because that's a lot of what I say sculpting and character design is, actually giving it a sense of life. And if you actually want to look into giving characters life or something in sculpts, I really recommend looking into miniature artists, say people who do Warhammer or Trench Crusaders, or just even just D&D proxy models. They have a very innate understanding of okay, this character is a still from a full scene. You sort of just have to pluck it out of whatever universe they're in, mid-action or something like that. And from that, it does tend to give it so much more character and just so much more life, and I think it's really impressive. And as well as they have a very great understanding of what to show and what not to. Because I've been getting asked a fair bit recently, oh hey, I'm new to sculpting, I really want to know how to do better details and stuff like that. And I would say just sort of play around a lot of the time, but I also do feel people have this bad habit of sort of skipping the primary and secondary details to go straight into tertiary, where they don't understand they all sort of feed into each other. I personally, a lot of my sculpts don't actually go beyond the sort of secondary stage, because I kind of just don't really have time to really commit to something fully. So I sort of just say get to a point I like and was okay, yeah, moving on, next product, because AO, content creation, fun times, am I right? And that's why I try to work as hard as I can to have those two stages of form, the primary and secondary, as strong as I do. just so I'm able to like give you a lot more suggestions of like what something should be looking like. And like that's something miniature creators are very good at. And say a lot of the time for tertiary details, you wouldn't really need to be doing that until you're like doing it for game ready content or even stuff like that. And a lot of the time, like that's going to be also then further painted on in like other softwares. So I am a very stern believer in masters, primary and secondary, and then worry about tertiary when like that's actually needed. Because it's one of those things, you know? And I'm gonna be so for real with you, like I find it kind of crazy the fact like people are coming to me asking me for advice on how to do X, Y, or Z, or like, hey, I'm a novice, how do I do this and that? Because I'm not gonna lie, I've been doing this for a few years, but I still feel I'm very much intermediate with my skill level, and not to the point where I can really be giving like too much advice, because I still feel there's a long way for me to be going. And I don't know, it's like very nice feeling, but it's also like, oh my god, I feel underprepared for this. But I guess there's also like people who never truly feel ready to give advice properly, because I feel most of the best sort of like a creative out there are always like understanding there's always more to learn. Because especially like say some of the many fantastic artists I've had the pleasure of like speaking to and just like picking my brains at, they're also like always kind of like that, like, oh my god, you're asking me, or how do I do this? And it's just so crazy to see like a lot of it, people are always trying to improve in one way or another, and there's like that whole quest of perfection, you know? And I think that's why for like whenever I'm giving advice or anything like that, or just like trying to get someone into it, because I do get asked a lot like, oh hey, I'm new to this, how do I actually really get into sculpting or modeling or stuff like that? I'll always just say have fun with it, because if you're having fun with it, it's going to make you more likely to continuously do it. And I think that's something really important to have, just like the actual passion to be doing it, instead of just wanting to be doing it for like, well, I was gonna say for the money in this thing, but like, dude, I'm broke as all hell. I live in like a small ass 1-bedroom apartment. I work 2 jobs. Like, I have not made it big yet, so I'm can't really be attesting for like all the wealth, fame, and power what comes along with being a 3D modeler just yet. But when I do, oh my god, the switch up will be biblical, I swear to you right now. And if you do like my content and actually want to be part of the switch up, please make sure to like, sub, and actually comment, as well as going out to check out my other socials. I stream on Twitch and YouTube, as well as like TikTok. So if you guys want to like be part of the community and see any of the stuff what I'm doing in real time, definitely go check it out there. Because I did actually make this guy and a whole bunch of other work whilst like live streaming. So definitely go check that out, as well as I do have a Discord full of like artists and creatives who all share their stuff, and it's pretty fun to just see what other people are doing. And yeah, it's so fun to have like a little chat and everything. It got a nice little community going on there, so definitely go give a check if you want to be part of it. And that actually does remind me, if you're a sculptor and use Nomad or anything like that, each month we actually do this character creation challenge where each one of us assigned a certain limit of a creature or character, and we all sculpt the individual components, and then at the end of it we combine it together to make like this sort of Frankenstein's monster with like different themes and stuff like that. And it's honestly a lot of fun. So if you are a sculptor or just a creative who wants to give it a try, I really recommend joining it, because it's a lot of fun, especially seeing like everyone's like own interpretation on like a single brief. It's pretty nice. I actually do need to post some of the videos from that. I just actually haven't got around to it for some reason. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. And if you do want to be part of it, definitely do join that Discord. Okay, so we're about 8.5 minutes into the video. I feel now may be a good time to actually talk about Manticore themselves. So for those of you guys aren't aware, Manticore actually originate from Persian mythology, but were then later adopted by the Greeks. And like the name itself, Manticore, actually refers to like an old Persian word meaning man-eater. And I think that's actually kind of funny, because there's like no other monster in reality what has ever eaten people at all. I swear, like this was the OG. That was the first one, only ever one. That's why it gets the name. But jokes aside, I actually find it really cool how like different cultures, even like thousands of years ago, were like borrowing from each other and sort of like finding stuff they found cool and sort of just like adopting it and like merging into their own, and sort of like embracing all these other ideas. It's like so amazing. Like say for example, a prime one I love is chimeras. Like chimera itself, like a Greek one, hasn't really been too like shared about, but like the method of creating a chimera has always sort of been there, because it's just a homogenization of different parts thrown together. Like, I say, for example, even a Manticore is just a combination of a human, a lion, and a scorpion. And that's how it all started. But then, like, as time has, like, gone by and other people have seen these and wanted to add more to it, like, then wings became a new addition, and as well as, like, spikes and just all this other stuff. And I find that so fascinating, how people are just looking at something and thinking, huh, I feel it would be a lot cooler if we did X, Y, or Z. And then other people are like, yeah, you know, I agree with this. That's the new meta. And I don't know, I just think that's so fascinating and just so wonderful that people are willing to just continually try and grow stuff, you know? And thinking about it, I think my addition to this will probably be how, I want my Manticore and a Sphinx to date. Like, that's gonna be my addition to, like, the new mythos of it, like, Manticore and stuff like that. I feel that would just be, like, a fun little thing, because Manticores, I don't know, they're very masculine feeling things, so yeah, I don't know, having a little Sphinx girlfriend, that's gonna probably be what I'm gonna be doing in the future for this. So I just realized from saying that's kind of locked me into, like, having to make a Sphinx at some point. So yeah, if you like what I do, definitely stay tuned for that, and yeah, definitely like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, there's gonna be a few more parts to this, because I've been working on it, like, fairly consistently on my live streams recently. So if you want to be part of the community, definitely go check those out and join the Discord, as well as potentially joining my Ko-fi. And that reminds me, a special thanks to Holly. I'm my one and only Ko-fi member right now. I very much appreciate you, and have a lovely, lovely day. All right, bye.